Oh, man. Welcome to World of Monsters. I'm Monster Master Arthur, and this is Cryptozoology, and today we'll be talking about the Chupacabra. El Chupacabra. Alrighty, let's start with the name first. Chupar means to suck, and cabra means goat. To suck a goat. So yeah, basically it means goat sucker. Before we discuss appearances and stuff like that, let's get a better feel on the history of the Chupacabra. Instances involving the Chupacabra may date as far back as the 1970s, when a Texas rancher discovered a dead bull with no blood or tracks in or anywhere around the corpse. This appears in the same time frame of the 1960s when other cattle mutilations started appearing all over the United States. Cases continued to appear here and there, but it wasn't until 1994 that this cryptid really started to take form in surrounding societies, predominantly in Puerto Rico. According to UFO magazine 1996, there have been over 2,000 cattle mutilations in Puerto Rico linked to the Chupacabra. Silverio Perez, a Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneur, was credited for coining the term Chupacabra as reports started hitting the press more and more. In Tracking the Chupacabra, a book written by Benjamin Redford, was composed of his investigations, concluded that all reports as of 1995 be dismissed, as the first eyewitnesses' reports seemed all too closely linked to the 1995 movie Species, which the witness indeed admitted to seeing. And bear in mind that the appearance of the Chupacabra at this point were quite alien-like and just right out strange and weird. Authorities then continued to maintain that cattle deaths were all due to stray dogs and illegally introduced exotic animals. Of course, that doesn't take away from the commonly believed possibility that these creatures could have or are the product of top-secret biological experiments, which are also known as ABEs in the UFO circles. ABE meaning anomalous biological entities, a conspiracy theory that has been largely ridiculed and made fun of. George Martin, a Puerto Rican journalist, reports that a Chupacabra has been killed and blood tests proved that genetically it is unrelated to any living creature on Earth, that it must be a highly modified experiment or simply alien to this planet. In another case, an alleged Chupacabra was killed in Nicaragua and tested out to be nothing more than a weather balloon. A common dog. Scientists tend to speculate that the legendary monsters are nothing more than coyotes with severe cases of mange.
Mange is a skin disease found in mammals caused by parasitic mites that typically cause severe itching, hairlessness, and the formation of scabs and lesions.
This eight-legged mite, scabiei, the Sarcoptes scabiei, is thought to be responsible for this naked, ugly, leathery, foul-smelling Chupacabra monstrosity. Although on a sadder note, the disease weakens the animal, causing it to hunt easier prey, such as livestock, rather than a speedy jackrabbit, for instance. The alien, weird, bipedal type of Chupacabra seems to be simply a figment of imagination, or may belong to a whole other alien-esque area of cryptozoology. Here's some noteworthy cases. In 1994, Puerto Rico, 4 or 6 little grays or little gray aliens were chased out of a house. That's right, from under a bed. March 1995, also Puerto Rico. 8 sheep found with puncture holes and completely drained of blood. August 1995, again, Puerto Rico. A Chupacabra blamed for the death of 150 animals. November 1995, Puerto Rico. A Chupacabra is blamed for dozens of various animal deaths and described with the appearance of having hairy arms and huge red eyes. December 1995, again, Puerto Rico. What was going on over there in Puerto Rico, More dead, punctured and drained animals found. Even a cat with a 2-hole punctured skull. Again, December 1995, Puerto Rico, a gorilla-like Chupacabra attacks a man. At the end of 1995, going on to 1996, more mutilated animals started to be found as trends continued, stronger and stronger as livestock were being found skinned and with slitted necks and removed genitalia and other organs. May 1996, Mexico. Yet a different Chupacabra spawns. This one has 3-toed feet and hands. It hunches over like a kangaroo, or me. It has glowing spikes, or feathers, hard to tell the difference apparently, lining its back with a tube mouth projection. Ooh, saucy. Put that in your incense burner and smoke it. At this point, distributed attacks begin to rise around, with repeated wounds, similar in appearance to that created from a biopsy puncture. May 1996, Mexico. Giant bat terrorizes village. Wow. Imagine seeing that on the billboard of a real newspaper, not one of these fake ones. Goats found daily dead and drained, and the vigilante night squad forms. Whoa, they should make a movie about that. May 1986, again, Mexico. 28 rams with puncture holes found dead and again drained of blood. At the start of the 21st century, accounts started to appear more worldwide, and corpses of the Chupacabra started to turn in, debunking it as a dog, coyote, a wolf-coyote hybrid, and there's even been one of a very diseased raccoon. Now we continue in the 21st century, and we go on to new places. Russia, 2006, 32 turkeys and 30 sheep found dead and drained of their blood. The creature is described as a kangaroo with a crocodile head and said to build small pyramids out of the corpses of the dead victims and prey that it kills. Imagine that, imagine that. 2007, Colombia, 300 sheep found dead, and a possible specimen of the Chupacabra has been captured. 2008, Philippines, 8 chickens found dead. Witness saw a dog-like creature. And one of the latest cases, 2014, Texas. We're going back to Texas. That's right, we started at Texas. We made a full circle. We're coming back to Texas here. Howdy ho! So here we go. A Texan couple caught what turned out to be a raccoon suffering from sarcoptic mange, as was mentioned earlier. So that's a little bit on the history of the Chupacabra. Now let's talk about the likeliness, formed out of my own opinion and research. Let's look at the versions first. There's the 4-legged one that is described to look sort of as a hairless dark coyote with 2 fangs or enlarged canines sticking out, and the back legs, the hind legs, to be longer than the front legs, the forelegs. There's also the flying version, a giant bat version, and then there's the bipedal version with big black eyes and spikes going down its back, which appears more alien-esque. And then also that relates to the gorilla version, which is another sort of bipedal, primate-like appearance. So I would say that the canine version, the 4-legged version, highly unlikely as being a true Chupacabra, as research has been done on it and it has been proven otherwise. This is one of the great examples of how much there is a general lack of knowledge about animals. A long time ago, a lot of cryptids, a lot of creatures were created from imagination spawned from the shock or surprising images of some creatures. Just as any child would exaggerate seeing a small snake and describing it as being a huge, terrifying creature, the same happened in the past, and the same still happens with people that generally do not educate themselves deeper in much animal research out there. Giant bats, another one. Both of these cases, of course, can be a product of some crazy experiments. Sure, we don't know that one, but they can also be clearly exaggerated observations of some exotic species or some diseased species that were introduced into the wild. The alien-esque bipedal type of Chupacabra and the primate or gorilla-looking or monkey-looking Chupacabra, I would put in another folder, the folder of the more alien-like and alien-esque entities out there. Because now we're jumping into other types of cattle mutilations, as we mentioned earlier, with the genitalia missing, clean incisions, blood drained, nothing appearing, people speaking of seeing UFOs at the site, strange lights, and these strange, weird, black-eyed things. So that's off to another tale. As far as this one with the quadrupeds, I would say it's mostly debunked. The crocodile-headed kangaroo, I don't know, but that makes for an awesome story. I'd be checking that one out deeper if I were you. Here's a little portion of the Cryptozoology series that I call my personal accounts. As you may or may not know, I've been researching weird stuff like this ever since I really started to find a passion or a desire to even read. But anyway, that aside, one time about 2005 or 2006, I was heading to Las Vegas with a few friends of mine, and one of the ladies spoke of seeing a chupacabra when she was back in Mexico. She said she could see it flying at the side of the road. What could have that been? A bat flying in the daytime? Unusual, but not insane. She described it as having a tail, and the other details I don't completely remember, but it did sound strange, stranger than anything that I'm aware of that lives in those areas. Could imagination and diseducation in local fauna have been a part of this creature's case? Quite possibly. But as I always say, never dismiss anything, always ask questions, and do as much research as you can. Here's some movies that you might want to check out concerning the Chupacabra. Chupacabra Dark Seas, 2005. That one is also known as Chupacabra Terror. Chupacabra vs. the Alamo, 2013. Chupacabra, 2003. And the Chupacabra has been featured in many cartoons, documentaries, and even in a Fantastic Four comic. If you enjoyed the show and watched through the whole thing, please leave a like down below, send me a comment or a question about what you think about the Chupacabra, and let me know what cryptid, what strange creature out there you would like me to discuss next. So once again, this has been Monster Master Arthur. Thank you so much for watching.
Esta bomba puertorriqueña